Halt!
Noticing a guard on the back gates. No doubt would tell us exactly the same thing.
Even if we had a prisoner by that name. Now I suggest you turn around and go back the way you came.
So, it seems all guards have received the same briefing. But, as I stated, we have come a long way to get here, jumped off a cliff pretty much to get here, and there's no way we're going to head back to Solitude now that we're here. Which only leaves us with one alternative. And that alternative is to enter via brute force. So making the necessary preparations for when things, no doubt, go horribly awry. Elwyn's intention is not to strike the first blow, but simply to brazenly and brashly walk on by, past the guard, to see what reaction he gets. Putting on his strongest armour, the ebony flesh, jewel casted for longer duration. Summoning his most mightiest of companions, his Dremora lords, whom is still Fluffy. Yes, Brulina has also the Sanguine Rose, but if you have noticed, have you ever seen her summon a Dremora once Fluffy has been summoned by Elwyn? I don't think so. It is the same person. Oh! And off we go. This bit might be a bit painful to watch, folks, because poor Brulina is surrounded right now. And no doubt about to get chopped to high heaven.
Over here!
Mr. Dremora Lord, would you care to spring into action, please?
I'll have yours!
Now we're talking.
Where are you?
Finish him!
There could be no other end.
Oh.
This? Over here! Enough!
Quite the onslaught of fireballs. And still we fight on. The battle not yet over. There's some archers inside. With a bit of a experimentation, see if we can raise these guys as our minions, but apparently they are too high level. I wasn't sure if I was using the right reanimate spell there. And finally, with the final explosion of the last fireball, peace is restored. Just out of interest's sake, I did actually do a quick bit of research to see if we did in fact return to speak with the Legion, to see if we could actually enter in a more peaceful and diplomatic manner. But apparently, if we did return to General Tullius and ask to have Thorald released, he declined anyway, so we literally had no choice. The only alternative solution to an all-out onslaught like this would be to sneak in and be stealthy. Well, I hasten to add, stealth is not Ellen's strong point. So an all-out assault was the order of the day. As we now begin ladening ourselves with a whole host of elven armour and glass equipment, we haven't even entered Northwatch Keep proper, and we are already carrying too much to run.
I've got your back. I'm a mage, not a pawnbroker, you know.
Yes, Berlina, but you will be mage nor pawnbroker by the time you're finished in here. You will be a pack mule. As much as we hate to burden you with such things, when there is so much money to be had, some things have just got to be done. We have 17,420 gold pieces. It is not as if we are extremely poor. We've only just purchased some expert level spells, and therefore it's going to be quite a long while before we are able to purchase the master level spell, so we've got plenty of time to increase our gold supply. So it's not as if we are in desperate need of looting every last thing in sight.
You lead. I'll follow.
But it's, you know, some things, some habits are so difficult to break. I've just about managed to break the habit of having to pick every ingredient that I walk past. As you've noticed in the past few updates, I have become far less prone to picking every single ingredient on the road. I may still pick the odd one now and then, but I think my ingredients barrel back at the College of Winterhold is extremely expansive now, and we have plenty within there to be able to allow us to practice alchemy effectively. Maybe I should take the same line of approach with loot, only taking the extremely lucrative stuff. Lesson to be learned for next time, perhaps. So with the exterior of Northwatch Keep pretty much explored, it only leaves us with one place to go, and that is inside the keep proper, where no doubt more Thalma and a whole host of fighting is to be done before Thorald is finally released. So initially getting a quick look to see roughly how long the keep is going to take us. Seems to be relatively large, not the largest of places we've been in, but it no doubt will take us a little while to make our way through.
Someone?
And voila! We enter, and straight away our summons are required. Summoning Tempestus, and then just sitting back and allowing him to do his business. And there you go. Well handled, Tempestus. Well handled indeed. Elwyn not even having to lift a finger, other than the initial summoning. The rest of his minions doing this job nicely. Noticing that the Thalma have just regular wine on their table. It's a shame. I think Elwyn is going to struggle to go back to drinking normal wine, having sampled the good stuff. And now the inventory management begins. As we are looking through the inventory, the book we picked up not so long ago, Proper Lock Design, written as a manual for lock designers, unintentionally helpful to thieves, might just come in handy for Elwyn before he delves into this dungeon. I'm sure there'll be more than a lock or two to pick. I have encountered many thieves whose sole interest in locks is how to open them and thereby pilfer the protected contents of the room or chest. I have taken it upon myself to devise a system of locks that can defeat such villainous intent. The materials used to create a lock are of utmost importance. Shoddy brass or copper will give way to a well-placed kick, thereby rendering the lock itself useless. I recommend steel over iron when choosing a material. More robust materials tend to be prohibitively expensive and necessitate the door being made of similar metals. I have been chagrined to stumble across the shattered shell of a wooden chest, its dwarven lock intact, and still locked. Once these basics are settled, pay particular attention to the offset of the tumblers. A 7-degree offset to the keyhole will allow a Torque-style key to work smoothly, while at the same time causing numerous headaches for the thief attempting to insert non-torque lockpicks. In similar fashion, the springs of the tumbler should be made by different smiths. Each smith will unknowingly create a spring with different tension than his fellow smiths. This variance will also create difficulties for anyone attempting to pick the lock. As far as manuals go, could have been a bit more helpful, I suppose. But Elwyn did glean a little bit of information from it, which advanced his lockpicking skill ever so slightly. But here's to hoping that he doesn't have to pick too many. And this is where we get to sit back and watch Fluffy do his business. Keep on chopping, lad. Keep on chopping. Mano a mano. We actually got to see Fluffy's defensive ability there. See how he was blocking the blows from the Thalma there? Just showing us that he's not all about hacking and slashing them to death. He does have some defensive capabilities. Not that he needs it too often. Nice little cafeteria / bar area. So tempting, in fact, to sit down ourselves and maybe have a spot of lunch before heading off further into the dungeon, into the keep. But then we should really focus on why we're here. As Elwyn picks up yet another book which he has not seen before. Morning Star, Book 1 of 2920. Being sure to take it to add to his collection. Yes, and the reason we are here is for Thorold. He's waited for months, and one would argue of waiting another hour or so whilst we have a spot of lunch wouldn't be too bad. I suppose deep down we should really get a move on.